flapping your gums with Vinny and Hessey. Yeah!
All right. What up, y'all? Here we are, flapping your gums. This is Hessey, and this guy right here is Vinny. Hello.
What's up, dude?
Hello, y'all.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to see you today.
Wait, what just happened? Oh, there we go. You're uploading now. It was at 0. Cool. So here we are, man. We are back, dude. So, I guess we will be heading into this week. Well, we have a bachelor party coming up, which is pretty rad. Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's coming up. So the next episode will have what we could talk about or possibly not be able to talk about. So I guess depending on I guess if in the next episode if we don't talk about it, then I feel like that probably was a pretty good indication of a pretty good bachelor party. No. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, bring it on. Yeah, it's true.
Well, when this comes out, the bachelor party will be over.
That is true. Well, this one will come out. Well, we'll already had the bachelor party, but this one will have come out, and then we'll talk about it in the next one. So that's perfect. That'll work out. Well, we'll see. May the best man win on the golf. So, yeah, there you go. Because Vinny has been playing golf. Don't let him kid you on that. No, I'm just saying I'm letting everybody know that I have not been playing golf and Vinny has been playing golf. So there's that. Dude, whatever. Swinging clubs is swinging clubs. Yeah. Cool. Bring it on, bro. I like a little friendly competition. Friendly, I say. So let's keep it that way. Dude, let's shout out this shirt. Shout out Dennis Isbister, Wild Fish Wild Places, hooking us up. So I'm running for a test Amazon. I think it's on Prime, Amazon. I think that's the same, right? Prime. Is that Amazon Prime? So you can watch it on Prime. I don't know if it's on Netflix. It might be. Yeah. He's a phenomenal fisherman, and so he's developed lures and like
we can talk about
that kind of stuff, you know. So he goes all over the country and does some pretty cool stuff, like fishing some like unfished rivers and lakes and that's. I'll get him on here.
We're gonna be golfing down there.
I mean, I think we can. I think he can with like as big as he is. I don't know if we have to sign paperwork or if he has to sign paperwork, but we'll see what kind of legal stuff we can do. But all I know is this shirt's rad, and I'm sporting it. And so thanks for that, for hooking us up. Yeah, I'll see if I can get another one. That's why I wish we were like in a studio thing, because when we get this stuff and I open up the box and we could do it together. Yeah, well, I mean, I can tell them there's another person to try to get to, but I feel like if we're getting hooked up, like I don't want to be like, hey, maybe give me a couple more. But maybe that's the thing you do. I don't know. I'm new, okay?
Yeah. I haven't had anybody give me anything because none of my friends listen, so they don't know.
What a bunch of dicks.
I know. And the friends that do, they don't have anything to give me.
No. Dude. No, we gotta get some different, we gotta add some friends to your repertoire.
Yeah, I gotta make friends with people that have merch.
You got some merch, bro. Hook it up, huh? Well, speaking of, dude, shout out Green Dragon Defense. We got they sponsor. They're one of our sponsors, and we just ripped out a wicked CCW class yesterday.
And for those that don't know, what is a CCW?
Concealed carry weapon. So it's like for doing conceal. So you can conceal carry a pistol. So Blake Brandenburg with Green Dragon Defense is the one that did it. So hook it up, man. I mean, he did a great job. We went through with all the shooting. He's got a little projector he sets up to go through all the bookwork. It's super fluent. All the NRAs, I think they call them, all like the different laws and stuff like that. If you're doing a renewal, it's a little cheaper, and it's not as long. If you're doing a full class, it's a little longer, and you have to take a test. But the test he covers it all, and I mean he rocked it. He nailed it. So Green Dragon Defense, shout out. We had 11. I think 11 of us did it.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot
for the class.
That's a lot of guns.
Yeah, it was super cool. Yeah, the shooting part was rad, dude.
So
and we had girls too, dude. We had
are you just the 20 yards, 25 yards, 100 yards?
So the shooting is just he's basically watching how you handle the gun and like how you move about with it and just your familiarity with it and stuff like that. But there was girls. I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4 girls.
Yeah,
4 or 5 girls that were part of it. Tasha was one of them.
Yeah,
dude. This older lady, I can't remember her name. I want to say it was Marie, I think, or something. She had the biggest gun out of everybody. Dude, it was insane.
Dirty Harry style.
So we all get up there to shoot, right? And it was like, okay, like one guy had shoulder surgery, but he'd already signed up, so he had a little Bearcat 22 because he couldn't rack it. Okay. So he just brought his 22 so he could just drop them in. It's revolver. So it does take a little longer running a revolver because you're close up, you shoot 6 rounds. Then you step back to the next line and you do 12 rounds. Then you go back to the next line and you shoot 12 rounds. And that's your shooting. And so he stands on the line with you and watches you go through all your stuff. Well, revolvers, the first 6 is fine. Then they go to the second 6 and everybody has to wait and you go back and they reload, right? Yeah. So here he is, little 22, little Bearcat is what it's called. So Maria walks up there, dude, and rips out a 45. Revolver, bro. Just hand cannon. Kaboom! Kaboom! And she's just letting it have it, dude. And I'm just like, what the? I mean, this looks like a howitzer compared to like the 9mm. And one of the girls is shooting a 380. And then here's this 45 caliber brass. And she ripped every shot with this thing, dude.
And was it a revolver?
Yeah.
It was.
Oh yeah, it was a revolver. So she's taking, revolvers have a lot more recoil on it than semi-automatics. But right. Dude, she was, and then so it was kind of sticking. So I think she just needed to like oil up the cylinder,
right?
So that so she'd have to like kind of rotate around. He was watching her, and she was like, "Oh man!" So she would mess with it, and she would sit there and it'd go, and she would barely move. Most people dive,
right?
Because they're getting ready for that thing. I mean, it had a flash guard on it, to like help with the recoil. But I mean, she's dirty Harrying it, dude. And she's probably like 70 years old, biggest gun out there, just ripping this 45 cal, dude. Crazy.
Yeah,
I loved it, dude. It was so rad. So when he pulls out his, she's got like, it looks like the Judge, where you can run like 410s through it or 38 specials. Mm-hmm. And then Sweeney gets out there with his, and he's got 38s on it. And she's over there, whoom, just showing him up. Oh,
you look differently at her when you see her in the grocery store.
Bro, she's gonna, And then they were because they talk about like not being able to know like body hits. So like if you're home defense and you're defending yourself, and somebody's wearing like heavier clothes or like a sweatshirt and it's black, you don't really know target hitting. So like as you're defending yourself and you're shooting somebody, if they're coming at you, you don't know that you're hitting the mark, per se, because you don't. It's not like the movies. You don't see it like go splattering out the back of them,
right?
And you're like, oh yeah, that's a hit. It's, of course, the body language. They should like to watch the body language, and then like, of course, once the person goes down, then you're safe. But he was saying, if you're in a black sweat, dude, I was joking about her. I'm like, except for Maria, like when she shoots it, she decleats the guy back out the front door because she's shooting a 45 caliber at this dude.
Yeah.
You just all of a sudden see him go blasting back through the door. You're like, oh yeah, she hit him.
She hit him.
Yeah.
Oh, she got him in the shoulder because his arm's laying on the floor.
Because he blew his arm off and sitting on the front, on the doormat out the front. But yeah, so it was good class. Everything went great. Everybody, passed, ran through it all. So weather held up, went good, because here we are now. We got us a hurricane rolling in on the west coast over here.
It actually called it Tropical Storm Hillary. Made landfall in Mexico Sunday over the northern Baja California peninsula. So
there you go. And we were talking about it. What did you say? What was the last time it came? Last time they had one. What should say?
The last time California had a hurricane was 1936. So
I lived in a house on Harrigan here in Nevada that was built in 1936.
That's cool.
That was my first house. First house I ever bought. Just throwing that out there. I don't know. It was funny. That's the same year.
Yeah. So, it's already made landfall as of August 20th, which is actually today. But so it's just a tropical storm now. But they said that stuff's going to be kind of affecting like Arizona, California, and even up through Nevada, Utah area. So I don't know. Like, we've already been getting a lot of where I deliver. It's like raining every day, like 2:00. It's just pouring.
Do you
rain.
think? But that hasn't. But that had nothing to do with the hurricane.
Well, it's not technically the hurricane itself, but it's pushing. It's pushing.
Well, the
weather
tropical storm,
here.
but you haven't. You shouldn't have it yet. I
Not
think
yet,
yours
no.
is coming now. Yours, you've just been having rain.
Well,
I don't think it has to do with the tropical thing, because
I just know what all the old farmers tell me. They're like, "Oh yeah, there's a tropical storm down there, so it's making highs and lows here, which is causing the high
maybe
low
so.
pressure stuff
That
here."
makes sense. Because it just got to us, when I was hitting you up earlier and we were going to shoot this. I was like, it rained last night.
Right.
Like, started yesterday and then was hitting to the night. Because I opened my window up while we were chilling, because it's just, like listening to the rain and smells, and all that kind of stuff. So, and so we were just like hanging out. And then I got up this morning and it was kind of puddled. I was like, man, I got to do my lawns. But it had stayed, it held off. Like, we hadn't had it. But it's cloudy, and you can tell like it's moving in from the west. So that's why I hit you up and was like, bro, can I try to get this done before we shoot this thing? Because I'm like, and it was still pretty wet. Like, it didn't mow as well as I wanted it to. Plus, I fertilized the cocksucker like 3 weeks ago. So that's really helping her. She's popping. And I'm just like, oh, man. But, so yeah. So now we're just kind of getting ready for that, because they say it's going to be like, some of them are saying like 2 to 4 inches of rain up here, which I don't think that's going to be the case.
I don't know, man.
We would flash flood, like, not like as in flooding rivers and canals, but we would have, like you're talking about, road washing away and like standing water everywhere. Like, we're not built to handle that kind of rain.
I don't know if anybody's can handle that kind of rain.
I think like Florida and stuff like that, they get that stuff every evening kind of thing.
It floods and washes out. Like, there was a video I watched in Vegas. Like, Vegas isn't set up for it. Like, and it shut down streets, strip. Like, it was just standing water. It had just washed it all out. And then here, down by Capitol Reef, it actually went through one of the roads, Highway 72, I believe. You can go from I-70 over to Fremont. And apparently it took out, like, asphalt. Like, it made a gully across the highway.
Washed underneath it or something?
Yeah. I mean, it took it out, and there was kind of I don't know what you want to call it. There was kind of a V or whatever. It's not a gully, but like the little mountainside. It has like, you can see where the water's run for years and years. It lost 20 feet. Like it washed 20 feet of that out onto the road.
It's like mudslide stuff.
Yeah, it was like, there's been quite a few of those. So they've been shutting them down and stuff like that. They've got to get the county, and they had the Utah Department of Transportation. They had their snowplows. They got the snowplows out to push it off the road.
Yeah, and I think that's what would happen here if it does actually make it that much. But I mean, like I say, like open the windows and like let the smell in and that. Because that kind of gives me a question. Wait, did you have something else?
Well, I was just gonna say there was a house I delivered to, and we were supposed to get all this, when the snow melted. Like everybody was kind of anticipating a lot of floods around when the snow started to melt at the beginning of the summer. So some of the houses I delivered to, it was kind of sad, but not sad. Sad. I feel bad for them, but they had like 3 sandbags, kind of built a wall around their front door, and
with 3 sandbags.
Well, it was like 3 tall. Like they did like a whole little wall. They only went
up.
They only stacked them up 3 tall, and I'm thinking, okay, that seems like a pretty good amount of sandbags if you're going to get a little bit of water. Well, Thursday night about 6 o'clock, apparently it was a lot more than a little water, and it flooded their basement. It went over. There's mud all over the side of the house, mud in the yard, the street.
Wait, it went over 3. Well, what's 3 sandbags stacked up? That's probably like 2 feet.
It was pretty close to that, yeah.
No kidding.
And I pull up to make a delivery to the neighbor, and they're all standing out there trying to dig a ditch along the side of the road because there's no sidewalk. It's just asphalt, dirt, and then in their yard. And they had probably 4 feet up on the house. There was mud just all over. So, and they're like, yeah, we were in Richfield, which is 45 miles away, and we got a phone call from our neighbor. It was like, hey, you guys might want to head home. So the guy's like,
yeah, but even by then you're like, all right, cool, it's already happening. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're like, it is what it is. When I get there,
they thought they would have made it through it for the snow melt, and they're like, all right, cool, and they just left him there. And then all of a sudden, that the rain hit at like 6 o'clock on Thursday, and just washed it right down. Yeah. So yeah, it was like, man. So it's been happening about every day. They've had a lightning fire. In one of the little towns I was going to. It's back up in the hills. The one guy told me, he's like, yeah, I was standing here in my backyard and I can see the flames on the tree. He goes, it was just huge flames. By the time the fire trucks got there and all that, they started to put it out, and then the rain came in and just poured.
Took care of it for them.
Yeah, took care of it for them and stuff. So yeah, it's been kind of a crazy situation. And it's like a bowl. Like I've had some of the guys tell me, he goes, yeah, I can sit here and watch them. I'll watch the clouds. They'll roll in, and then they'll kind of hit this other mountain thing. And he says I'll watch the same cloud just kind of swirl in this valley 2 or 3 times, and before it dissipates and goes away. So I don't know.
That guy might be high.
He might.
Yeah. I feel like, dude, there's no way you're tracking a cloud that's just circled around. I mean,
he's like,
no, I'm just like, he's the same cloud. I'm like, bro, what does it look like? A Puff the Magic Dragon or what?
Right.
Yeah. Well, dude, I got this cloud. It looks like a kitten's face.
Yeah.
Circle.
He just says he sits there on his porch and just kind of watches this.
Oh yeah, dude. He's
whirl around. But yeah, Thursday at 11 o'clock when I got over there, it was lightning until 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I just sat there and watched lightning all day long. It was pretty crazy. I had another couple tell me that their house got struck by lightning. They were standing in their garage. They have like a 2-story house. They're up against the hill. Yeah. They're like in the garage just like watching all the rain, and lightning hit the house, and the modem and something else that he has on a little shelf, he said it just exploded. He said pieces went everywhere.
Dude, lightning is insane amount of power. Like,
oh yeah,
oh gosh, it's insane. So a lightning story, since you were talking about it, when I worked for the cable company,
yeah,
so Walker and I got called on a job to replace everything of all their equipment. Like they had DVRs, cable boxes and modems, right. Because their tree in their backyard had got hit by lightning, and it surged and fried everything.
Seriously.
So their surge protectors. The guy's like, I had those little surge protectors.
Right.
His TV smoked his like 2 of his TVs. And when we got there, and we were like, okay, like we'll see, and he'd gotten the stuff replaced, and then we were there. He'd got a new TV and all that stuff, and then we were there. He got his power looked at or whatever. And dude, there was rocks, like because this tree was out back and had like a little rock garden thing around it, like the little pebble rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And it hit this tree and split this whole piece of like the branch next to it. So not fully centered of the trunk, but like to the one side. There was rocks laying up on the roof of his house.
Wow.
Because when this thing hit, it just like grenaded.
Dude.
And so when it made it all the way to the ground, that's when it surged through all of his stuff. But yeah, fried it all the cable boxes, the modems, everything. So we had to replace. Yeah, that was my lightning story.
That's what happened.
Yeah. So when we were talking about it, I opened the window, listened to rain. I had a thing about fans. Do you have a fan in your bedroom?
No,
a ceiling fan?
Yes.
You have a ceiling fan in your bedroom? Do you? Okay, so here's my question to you and everybody else. Do you run your ceiling fan all the time?
No.
No. Like, so only like when you're in your room you turn it on?
No.
Or do you don't even run it at night?
No.
Oh.
I've
It's
only
too
ran
cold?
the ceiling fan like twice. No, because I
Okay.
mounted it to the ceiling. I don't think it's even screwed into. I don't dare use it because I'm afraid it's gonna fall off.
Oh gosh. Okay, so that's a little different. That's way different. Okay, so Vinny doesn't use his because
Hold
it's
on.
dangerous
Hold on.
and it's
Hold
going to
on.
fall on you while you're sleeping and you could die.
Hold
But
on.
for others,
Oh. Hold on. So there was a ceiling fan. It was one of those old brown ones. It had like the gold fixtures coming off of it and stuff. So we got a new one. I took the old one down, and I'm just using the same holes and the same brackets and everything that's up there. Well, apparently, our master is what used to be the old garage, and it's double layered on drywall. So I'm up there trying to find where like the stud is, because I took everything out so I can get my hand up in there. I think I might have one screw in a stud, but other than that I don't. But it's, to my knowledge, I'm thinking when I put it up there, I put it back in the same bracket and everything like that. It went tight, but there is a chance that if you get a wobble in that ceiling
oh
fan,
gosh.
I'm pretty sure that ceiling fan is
So, and also in that, Vinny doesn't have an attic, or like you don't have because you have a flat roof or so,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, like a flat roof. So you can't get up in there and mount if it wasn't already there. Okay,
true.
so one screw is holding Vinny's fan on, and I'm pretty sure it's going to wobble. They do
Possibly.
wobble. Possibly he has one screw in there that is into a truss, but. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't use yours either. That's sketch. Could you imagine? You're just all just assed out, and then all of a sudden, wham, and it'd still be spinning. Blah,
would
blah,
still be
blah, blah,
spinning,
just
yeah.
wrapping up blankets, hitting you in the face.
Yes.
Who knows?
It's
Shocking you.
I didn't tell my wife that that's the only thing holding it up there either.
Okay, good.
So-
Yeah, let's keep that.
But now
Hopefully she
everybody
doesn't-
listening to this is going to tell her. So
Well, maybe. Hey, don't tell her. Let's keep that on the low. They don't use it that much, so it's fine. Okay, so then besides that, the danger part of it on Vinny's side, for the listeners, hit us up. Let us know, like, because I know, like, mine's goes all the time. Like in the wintertime, I'll open the window up and have my ceiling fan on. And I'm literally, my room will get down to like 54 degrees, 56 degrees.
and my significant other would not allow that.
And
So
I'm in a sheet, and I am sleeping like a little tiny infant baby. Dude, just like, I love it. But, so also, yeah, my significant other, I sleep hot.
Right.
So she just gets more blankets.
Right.
And just snuggles up and makes herself a little fort there. She'll usually at night when we're just laying there, she'll snuggle up and then she can just stay warm that way and then kind of get away from me when it's sleepy time. Because at your place, there's no way I could even sleep and have contact with a person next to me if it was 80 degrees.
Degrees. Yeah.
Dude, even at 73, it's like we're definitely sweating together, and it's only going to make it way worse, you touching me. But, so anyway, so I keep the fan on. The window, I got a big window. It's like right next to me. Like Tasha doesn't open her window because she has one on the other side of the headboard. Right. So we have the two of them. But I open mine up. Sometimes I've woken up when it's like the wind's blowing and it's raining and I can feel wet hitting me. Then I'm like, I probably should close this.
Probably.
Like, I think it's like blowing snow into my house. Like, I should probably shut her down.
And swirling it around.
Yeah, or maybe I should turn the fan on higher and see if I can make some positive pressure and hold it out. Dude, because I'll sleep on that side and I just have a little nightstand. But that window is like right there and I'll like wake up and it's wet. Yeah. Right there because just the depending on the window,
drywall, all that. Yeah, good
whatever. I mean, I could fix that, But no, it just gets amazing on like the window seal. I have like my gun safe right there. I know when it's only happened like 2 times because on that one I was like, man, the top of this is wet, and it's because it's like one of them barometer one, biomet wherever you put your fingers in there and it reads it and flops the thing open. And I like got up and was like, and I was like, whoa, man, it is cold. I thought it was just cold because sometimes it's that way like this, because I just sleep out flat on my back. So it's like my right arm is right there by the window. And I'm like, ooh, that is cold. And then I like getting my stuff to get up for work or whatever. And it's like, I'm like, oh man, it's wet right here. And then I was like, oh yeah, okay, it was storming. But so the fan question would be for people. So, and I feel like now it's like it's the noise,
right?
There's like because it's like so. There's 2 things. There's like the one where it's just turning. It's like that, but then there's also when we first moved in and stuff, and like that fan would get off a little bit, like when the AC would kick on. So the central air kicks on and causes a imbalance in pressure. Yeah. And that fan would move and you'd go tick, 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 tick. You could hear it up there. Now that I can't do. So I had to get up there and mess with it and like
tighten it,
adjusted it around. Yeah, so now that just all it does is spin. But like so I couldn't but there is that noise, I feel like. I don't think it's necessarily just keeping your body cooler for sure. Yeah. But I think there's that noise of it, like you're saying, like the white noise. But it's like because it's not a huge noise. But if you turn it off, like my house is dead quiet,
right?
Almost too like creepy quiet.
Are you scared?
And then dude, like. But I also think then it's like one thing goes and you're instantly awake. When you have like that fan going and there's like kind of a constant noise, like when the dog moves or something happens like that. Right. Like, but if it's dead quiet and then all of a sudden it's like you could hear a pin drop, or like Diesel gets up and rotates in his crate and it's like, I'm awake. I'm like, what was that? Right. But I'd be interested to see who runs their fan for what? For cooling, or do you run it because you like the noise? And you turn it on and off. Like, do you keep it off only run it in the summer and don't you run it in the winter?
And there's different ways, like different fans. You can also switch the direction. So you can make it so it blows down. Mm-hmm. And if you do it in reverse, it'll suck up.
Correct. So they say,
a lot of people switch it.
So they say in the winter time, you're supposed to have it pushed down.
Right.
Because it brings the hot air, because hot air rises.
Right.
And then in the summertime, you have it pull up because it's pulling the cool air up from your ducting band, I guess. Cold air stays lower.
Cold air is lower on the ground, and you want to bring it up mixed with that hot air. Now I know there's, it's been that way since they've ever made them, but how often have you changed yours?
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't even have to get up and do it to mine. I have a remote.
Oh.
And I can just change the direction and turn it. But
Fancy.
I don't feel a reason to do it. I like the air coming down onto me. And then if the AC kicks on, you know what I mean? It's just I'm just using it for circulation. So it's just circulating the air, I think. I don't know.
That's good.
Hit us up. Let me know if you run it all year round. Wear a fan out.
Or if it's mounted to your ceiling properly.
Or if you don't run it, because you could possibly die. So, yeah. Maybe that's the thing, too. They're like, I'm at a rental, or I bought this house, and I turned this thing on, and it's like circling, just beating the end of it to the roof, the ceiling or something. I don't know. There's probably that, dude. I've seen some sketch ones before. But, yeah. Okay, so then we went over the hurricane, went over that. So we did get some comments about smelling salts.
Okay.
Actually, we got two of them. So thank you, Katie, shout out, and Tori, shout out. What's up? They did like some researching stuff,
Right.
and like found some articles and some YouTube stuff about smelling salts and the reaction it causes your body to do it for that time as inhaling it, and like the reaction. So it does work. It does cause a chemical reaction in your body, almost similar to, like, I think one of them, and I didn't look at the one article, but it's almost similar to, I feel like the adrenaline.
Okay.
You know, when it fires up some endorphins or something or whatever. But it can be bad for you. They said, like, if you were to do it a lot. But nobody ever says, at least the one I watched on the YouTube that they sent over, it doesn't say, like, how much.
Like, what is a lot?
Yeah, like, am I just sitting in a room full of that stuff? Because it does have ammonia in it.
Right.
You know, and it's not even salt, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, don't put it in your spaghetti. You know, it's not like that. It's a smelling salt, but it's not
Is
an
it a
actual,
liquid,
like,
or is it a crystal?
No, it's crystals. Yeah, it's like chunks of this stuff.
Oof.
So, somebody had a buddy. Well, it's Katie's fiance. Somebody brought in some smelling salts that listens to it.
Brought in
at his work.
where?
To his work, and
Yeah.
it was a year old.
Okay.
And he opened it up to smell it and said that his eyes started watering and he almost didn't know what to do with himself. And it was a year old.
But does it get stronger like wine, or is it?
I feel like it. No, I think it diminishes the longer because you're losing, chemical, like wafting of it. But he said he took a hit of it and was like, "Oh God!" And then the guy's like, "Yeah, this is a year old."
Nice.
And it's just like, what? So, dude, when you watch them people just take a whiff on that, that's impressive, man. So, if anybody out there is listening that knows people or, send us some or hit us some, let us know. Send us a video or just send us some in general.
Oof.
Email us or whatever and give you Vinny's email or give Vinny's address.
Vinny will do it.
Yeah.
Shoot.
No, just because so I can give you. I don't want to give my address.
We got to come up with a flap in your gum.
You got a PO box?
No.
Gosh, dang it. Mom does.
Mom does. She'll be like,
Mom be like, why am I getting all these packages? What is in here? What are these bottles? I'm rattling them around. I can hear them. Don't open them, Mom. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. I mean, I think let's see it. I mean, if I see some, I'm gonna buy some. Or I'm not gonna go out of my way. I'm not gonna like go on and order it. But like if I'm somewhere and I'm like, oh, check this out. Like I got a competition in September. Maybe there'll be smelling salts there. I don't know.
Yeah. I
I'm
don't
seeing.
think they sell it. the Costco or anything, but
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a thing either. But I guess it does. Like you have to look it up. But I mean, if you want to take the time, it does work. So it does fire. It's not like a placebo. I mean, it probably is somewhat of it, but it activates whatever it does. So that was cool. And then, oh, dude, I didn't tell you. We did get a comment on. So Mesa, Arizona, is popping off with those soda runs.
no.
Yeah.
They're probably Utah that moved down to Mesa.
Dude, exactly. It's a big LDS community. Like there's a lot of them that have moved over there and are living there, and so now the soda runs are popping off up there in Mesa, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you,
it's Mormon, dude. It's like a Mormon. It's like I don't know. It cracks me up that we talked about it, and then somebody said that.
He says it's the Mormon alcoholic beverages. It's how we can feel that we're getting our mixed drinks and our cocktails, but we're doing it without the alcohol. So
dude,
that's how they're rolling through it.
That's what it isn't that mind blowing that we talk about it, and then somebody comments on there is like, oh yeah, was in Mesa, Arizona, and these things are just popping up everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's it's like that. It's a LDS Mormon, whatever you want to call them,
right?
Community, like there's more of them. So now it's like, but this, dude. But I feel like then, yeah, you might as well just do the other. You're just substituting it. It's still what's in your heart. You know what I mean? It's still like you're still like
going to it, going like I'm gonna get me a.
No, they're not saying it, but you're substituting of something else. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't, whatever. Say I can't drink alcohol, so I'm just gonna smash sodas. You know what I mean? It'd be like, it's the same thing as like chewing. So like if you're a chewer, you're like, oh, I got to quit chewing. Or say, for instance, you're like, oh, I don't chew. I just do Zans.
Right.
You're
still
addicted to the nicotine.
And then sodas.
But you're just like, you're still addicted to the caffeine or whatever. It's still changing your there's still a chemical change. There's still an imbalance. You know what I mean? Like you smash a bunch of caffeine, you get all wired up and you're jacked up, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing, you go and have you a few beers, it just relaxes you and kind of gets you, get you in that mind, gets you in a different mindset or whatever. But anyway, it was hilarious, dude. So I was like, oh man, I almost forgot that one.
Did they say anything about like they've gone to it or they just seen it?
No, they didn't. No. So hopefully they're listening and hit us back. Did you go and check it out? What did you get? Did you get you a 44-ounce something rather heart stopper? I feel like they should make one like that now that I said it.
I'm pretty sure that's what I had yesterday.
Oh gosh, that's what got you going, and then go to the fights and you're doing the Russians, bro.
Yeah, that's what I got when I was out selling ice cream. Yeah, and
the heart stopper.
Yeah, it was the white Monster, Mountain Dew. What else did it have in it? Like a strawberry and pineapple. Like they put the pump of strawberry, they put the pump of pineapple, 44 ounces of Mountain Dew, and they do like I don't know how much of the Monster they actually. I don't know if it's a full can, half can.
I'm sure. Dear Lord.
Ooh,
well,
yeah.
So how many ounces was the drink?
44.
What? So they don't put. It's not 44 ounces of Mountain Dew then.
No.
So they probably put like 36 ounces and then smash down to 16. Oh my gosh, dude! What do they call it?
I don't have any idea.
Dick
I just
dropper.
read on the tag what it said. No, it's freaking heart attack is probably
heart attack. It should be called. Like I'm gonna take the heart attack. They're like, oh, I got it. It's half the white Monster, half of a Red Bull. Top her off with the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
So it's funny they use the white Monster. Is that because zero sugar or what?
I have no idea.
They're like, you're getting plenty of it with the Mountain Dew.
I don't know if it's because it doesn't really have like a flavor.
No,
like
it's
you're
probably
not
the taste,
so that you can still get the, because you put anything in there. Like, I can get a Mountain Dew with watermelon. They give you the watermelon Red Bull, but you can also get a Mountain Dew with a watermelon pump of syrup, so you can have a watermelon Mountain Dew, which
so is that like the Code Red or whatever? Is it Mountain Dew with the pink one or something? They
Code Red,
make
I
a
think,
pink one.
cherry.
Oh, they make a pink one, I thought.
Yeah,
I swear I've
I
seen
know.
it. It's got some like fruity looking little.
Yeah, but if I'm gonna have a flavor, I might as well get something that has, bigger kick to it. Red Bull, Monster, Rain. You love those Rains, so
Dude, I
let's
love
make
Rain. So good. You know what my new one is? No, I still love Rains, but Rockstar makes a lemon pepino.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's how you say it. That's how I say it. So if I'm
Sounded
wrong, well, pound sand. But that's the one I get now. It's like it's like the Rain jalapeno one.
Okay.
It's like, but it's the Rockstar, so it's not quite as like that jalapeno tasting to it because of the lime. But I think you might like that one. You're gonna have to try that one out this weekend.
I don't do a lot of energy drinks. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to mix it with Mountain Dew, I will. Whatever you want. But I just want you to taste it, okay? You don't got to drink the whole damn thing. Just take a swig of it. Shit.
I used to do
That's
those
all I'm
things.
asking you. I'm just asking you to taste it. Gosh.
I used to drink amps every day. I drink one every day before work. And then after 4 days, all of a sudden I was getting a cold. I felt like they just broke down my immune system, and I'm just like, oh.
That was probably not. It was probably your activities of what you were doing, and because you were having to smash amps to stay awake and
That's true.
carry on. Remember when they had Full Throttle? I don't know
Yes.
if they make. Dude, I used to get cases of those from the Coke plant because they were just like giving them away because nobody would buy them because they were nasty, dude. But I remember I had cases of those Full Throttles. Oh, they tasted just like, I think Kasha calls it like Robitussin or something like that.
That's cough medicine.
Right, shoot, that's what it is. Because I was like, I don't even know what that is. She's like, what? I used to drink that all the time as a kid. I was like, well, that explains a lot. But I was like, when she drinks like that, like the Full Throttle or like the Rockstar, the first Rockstar Zero Sugars is like a white can with gold lettering,
Right.
and there's no flavor. It's just like raw. And she's like, this tastes like Robitussin. It's just like, just straight up, not fancied up. I got it when we were up at Eagle Lake when we went camping last month. They had one in the it looked like Resident Evil gas station. Yeah. It wasn't a gas station. It was the little marine place.
Yeah.
There was like half of the stuff was gone, sold out, whatever. It was sketch. And I was like,
my original can from when they
dude, I think it was probably super old. Just been sitting in there in the back I didn't even want to look at the expiration date on it.
Oh man.
Because I was just like, dude, I haven't even seen one of those forever, but it said zero sugar, and I was like, oh, I'll get that one.
That's awesome.
Right. Cool. All right, so we were going to talk about, I put down, you were talking about medical.
I did. I
don't know what kind of medical people we got listening to, but they can help us out.
So I have a buddy that at work, he took a bad step, and he tore his meniscus on the top and the bottom, and it's like a little tear on top, little tear on bottom. He did the whole MRI thing, took it to the doctor, and the doctor's like, look, I don't want to do surgery on it. Like, he had been, when they read his MRI and stuff, like, yeah, you're probably gonna have to have surgery. The doctor decided not to do surgery, gave him a cortisone shot. It ended up swelling up to like 3 to 4 times bigger, his knee, than his other knee. And they were like, that doesn't usually happen. That's very rare, and all this kind of stuff. He's like, well, this is on a Thursday. They want him to go back to work on Monday. And he was just like, I can't. Like, it hurts worse now than it did when I actually heard it. And I've been out for 2 months and all that kind of stuff. So he's trying to get a second opinion on the read and all that kind of stuff. But his girlfriend lives up north, and she's really like those doctors go to small towns and stuff like that because they're not good enough to go into bigger cities and stuff like that. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, so do you feel, or does anybody else out there feel, that doctors that are better in bigger cities, like your LA's, New York, Salt Lake, Phoenix, or whatever, compared to like Fallon, Richfield, because there's just smaller places. Do you think there's a difference in their ability to do a good job?
Well, I guess we're going back to when they said, why did his doctor not want to do surgery? Because of his age?
It really, he just didn't feel like it was big enough to do the surgery.
Big enough tear?
Yeah.
So he's saying it's going to heal up.
He says, I can go in, I can do the surgery, and it's fine. And kind of like, yeah, I want to say he's, I don't know, right around 63, 64 years old. He's got a few more years at UPS and stuff like that, but where he wants it to be, he's probably going to be retired in like a couple of years, like I said. So he's kind of like, I want to get it fixed now so that when, I retire or whatever, I don't have to keep dealing with it.
Yeah, so, but I guess on that, then we don't know. Because I would like to know on that, just on that part of the story, I would want to know, like, why. So did the doctor look at it, because maybe he's right. And he's like, well, you don't have to have surgery is going to put you out for 6 months.
Right.
We can give you a cortisone shot. It's going to heal itself because it's just a slight tear. It's going to reattach, and you're going to be just fine. You know what I mean? So it's like the risk over the reward type thing. It was like when I tore my pec. He's like, you don't have to have surgery. It'll reattach itself wherever it's going to reattach itself. You'll have more of a deformity. He goes, so if you don't care what it looks like, and I was like, well, I mean, you don't really going to notice it for the most part. The reason why is, and he's like, you'll be 35 to 40% weaker.
Right.
And I was like, nope, we're doing surgery.
Right.
So it's like that part of it. If you're looking at it as with his age and cutting it open and the downtime when it's non-beneficial because it doesn't benefit him because he didn't completely tear it. Right. So he's not weaker because the tendon is still there and will attach and or the time down, you know what I mean? So that's what I'd look at there. Now, your question with the rural areas compared to the inner city areas, yes, I believe so. Now, I'm not saying 100% because I don't know or statistic-wise know of that kind of stuff. But the money is in the inner city, in the big city stuff, right? I feel like that's where, from the doctors that I've known that have been here and then like go from here to go to, like that buddy of mine, his wife came here and worked here for 5 years or whatever it was. Right. And then moved to Reno to go to Renown. I think it's Renown. St. Mary's, then Renown, whatever, a bigger hospital.
Yeah.
Because there's more money.
But she's the same doctor.
Correct.
She did,
and she's great, and she's really good.
Did a good job there.
But she was here. So she's a surgeon. She's like phenomenal what she does. She's recommended. She's high ranked. So she's really good. Why was she in Fallon? Because the rural areas give them like a bonus. Mm-hmm. So they were in Florida. That's where she went to school, all that stuff. And then they're like, okay, well, we'll pay you this much money to come back to here and work in this hospital. So they give them like a bonus. There's like an incentive to come and do it. But so and I don't know if this is how it is always. So I think when there's the state that you get your medical, your master's degree or whatever it is, you have to go and I believe you have to work there or something like that. You have to put a certain amount of time in that state or whatever it is. But I know I don't know if that's, you'd have to look it up. But yeah, so I think you get some in rural areas, but I think it's probably only for so long. It's probably for only the time that they get contracted, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? That's why she only worked the time she needed to because that was the deal that was made. So we'll give you this sign-on bonus or whatever, pay pay your schooling or give you $80,000.
Like you're working in a rural area, you're doing a great job, like you are good at what you do. So do you kind of get cherry picked by another? Like they're like, okay, we're going to pay you more, we're going to do that, but we want you to come here and do it because you are the best at what you do.
Yeah.
So I think,
it's where the money's at.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a bigger hospital. You go into a city, those big cities, like you're saying, like LA, San Diego, Salt Lake,
right.
You know, that kind of stuff. If you were working in Richfield, you're probably making pretty good money.
Right.
For Richfield.
Right.
And you go through those stuff, and now you've kind of built up your resume of having these surgeries and this stuff and this, and you've gone through this. I think then you kind of go up to them bigger, you know, the bigger hospitals up there in Salt Lake, and you're like, well, here's my stuff. I've had 37 successful surgeries or whatever it may be. I'm sure they look at stats some way of that, and then they're like, okay, come up here. So, but I also don't think that you necessarily, I think you can run into shit doctors in big cities too. Right. And I feel like that's probably that's where you get, you know, like the second opinion type stuff. Go to different doctors.
Yeah.
You know, and mom and dad they get stuck going to the same one. They're like, oh, it's because we like him. I'm like, yeah, but he ain't doing you any good.
Sometimes, yeah.
Like, go to somebody different. Yeah. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, find somebody else, or even just like you said, get an opinion from somebody else. But that'd be interesting. I mean, I'm sure people hit us up, let us know, because they probably some people probably have some pretty good stories about some quack doctors or some phenomenal ones. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you might have somebody that was really good in a big city, and they just didn't like all the. I mean, you know, say in a bigger city you have more people, so you're doing 1,500 surgeries a year, but you want to come down to here and just kind of slow down a little bit, maybe
be more like familiar with the people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Doc Hollywood, a great movie. Michael J. Fox, dude. But I mean, it's like that. So the hustle bustle of the city, you don't know. I mean, it's just paperwork and people. You're just cattle, just shoving them through. Next. And then eventually I could see that, you know, 10 years of that, 15 years of that, you're like, I'm ready to settle in, like, get to know some people and, like, be familiar with the people coming in. And then, like, because some of that's I think would be pretty cool. You know, this is kind of the same as, like, living in the same town where you see, even when I go back to Monroe for, like, the basketball stuff, like, those are guys that I went to high school with, and now their kids, I'm watching their kids out there play ball. You know what I mean? Like, we used to play ball together, and then now these kids are out there playing ball. Or like here in the town I'm at, you're like, my friends and stuff that I have are now having kids that I'm watching grow up and do these other things. So I could see that, like a doctor, you could get some good ones in rural areas. But I think for the most part, you're probably going to have, I feel like you'll have better ones in the big city, but maybe that's because you have more of a selection.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of having
maybe a little more quote unquote competition.
Yeah.
You got to be better.
You got to be good. Better. And there's like 12 of you in one giant hospital, and then you go to like, you know, Fallon or Richfield, and there's 3. 2. Yeah. You know, and you're like, okay. You're like, I can get a second opinion, but it's the dude right down the hallway.
Or in the same office.
Yeah, and they're having lunch. Oh, you got to wait. They're both at lunch. It's like, oh, cool. Well, so,
right.
But yeah,
so, that was one of my podcast notes that I wrote down for that, and I also had another one for you that I was working on this bathroom.
Did you talk about tools? You can talk about tools.
We're going to talk about
this. I like this one. Let's talk about some tools.
I was sitting there working on the bathroom, and he was looking up this article or whatever, and it's more of like a meme, maybe a joke, but I think it kind of set something off. He said there's a guy that went and bought all these new tools, and his coworker was like, "What are you doing? Why are you painting all your tools green?" He goes, I'm painting them to look like Ryobi so nobody steals my Milwaukee tools. So like, and I was like, dude, and like he keeps bringing up the Ryobi situation because all my tools are Ryobi.
Yeah, I was
Like,
say what kind of tools you sport. And
I have Ryobi. I got all Ryobi tools, and I haven't had one issue with a single one of them.
yeah,
You know, and I'm just like, man. And I asked you about it earlier this week, and I'm like, what do you? I mean, I get it. Like people are like, oh, they're DeWalt. It's kind of like being a car guy. Like you're a Ford guy, you're a Chevy guy, you're a Dodge guy, whatever. And people are kind of the same way with their tools. And I guess if you work with tools like constantly, I'm just a homeowner, so my tools, I don't use them every single day. But I remember when we used to do drywall, you know, the guys that we worked for, whether it was Burke or any of those guys, they were like, this is what you got, you know, get DeWalt, you know, drywall gun, or get, you know, I think Makita. Was there a Makita drywall gun?
DeWalt is what we used.
I think I ended up with a Makita. Because it was that turquoise colored one, but that was like the cheap
down one. Yeah,
it was a cheaper
we knew you weren't
version.
going to be around very long.
Gee, yeah. Thanks. But it was just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you always start out with kind of like a little bit of a cheaper set because that's what you can afford.
Yeah, I think too. It is funny because it is that way. You know, I mean, it's
Like
just like
little Kev DeWalt. That's what he has in his shop. Is DeWalt. And then the guy next door, he's got a little wood shop. He's got probably 4 or 5 different DeWalt screw guns and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think too. Also, it's like so you started with Ryobi, right?
Yeah.
So you're most likely going to stay with it because when you buy something, now your battery works with the other.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
and that's where it kind of goes that way. So it's like, so I use tools every day.
Right.
And so it's like, even it comes down to even the small, like my nut drivers. So I use, nut. So, you know, I want the one with the good handle, the good grip for my nut driver. What?
That's, yeah. You're making it awkward on YouTube right now.
But it's so I get Klein. So I do Klein. So my tools are all Klein. My hand tools. So
Okay.
like, and I do the backpack. So I have like my maintenance backpack and then I have electrical backpack. They're Klein. And because it's just, that's what I had gotten when I went to the backpacks. But like some of the Klein tools, they got the little rubber handles and stuff like that. And then I was like, so I had, when I built my electrical one, I had a set of nut drivers that weren't. So they don't tell you on the top what the size is.
Okay.
And they're hard. They were the Craftsman.
Yeah.
So it's terrible. So when my backpack's hanging there and I'm up on a ladder and I'm working in electrical and I reach down to try to grab a nut driver, to take a ballast out or whatever it is. I don't know which one it is, except that I have them in order in my bag.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But when Mike's there and he gets one out, uses it or hands it to me and puts it back in, he doesn't put it back in the same spot. So I'll have a couple. So now here I am up on the ladder and I'm reaching down to grab this thing and I pull it out and it's the wrong one. And I'm just like, ah, and I shove it back in there and then I grab the next one and I'm like, so then finally I get the one that's right. So that's the part where I don't like that. So I get rid of those and buy Klein because they say it on the top.
Right.
So now if it gets out of order, but it's crazy. And I don't know, people can comment on this and you might be this way. I lean more towards no, but correct me if I'm wrong. My stuff is like, when I have it in my tool bag, like my backpack, is in the same spot. I always put it back in the same spot, and it's in the pockets they're supposed to be in. So if Mike uses my tools, the guy I work with, or he gives it to me and he puts it dude, there's times I'll open my bag up and go to grab it, and I think I lost the tool.
Because it's not where it's supposed to be.
Because it's not in that little slot.
I have tools scattered from hell to breakfast, so I've got...
Dude, that's why when I said it, I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm going to lean more towards yours. Isn't that way?
No. No.
But dude, yours probably looks like a yard sale, dude. Just a grenade went off.
Dude, seriously, 100%. I got one little bag that sometimes like I went down to work on Cooper's car when he was down in St. George, and I'm like, oh, I might need this, I might need that, and I'm just throwing stuff in this bag. That bag is still half full, and that was over a year ago. Like I have tools in that bag that is sitting in my shed that I don't even remember what's in there, and I'm like, oh, I know I have one of these somewhere, and I'm looking in one closet, my toolbox. Then I finally go to that bag, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's in here, and I'm like, oh, hey, here it is.
That gives me
Like,
anxiety.
I open up my socket set. I do have one of those Craftsman socket sets. You open it up, and I'm missing probably 6 or 7 sockets, and I'm just like, what happened to them? I don't know. What they're probably in that bag.
They're probably in the bag. Just get the bag out.
So on your power tools,
dude, that's got to drive me nuts. It's got to drive you nuts because, dude, how long does it take you on a project when you got to spend that much time to look for a tool?
I get it.
Okay.
I don't know how long.
So then so the same thing comes down to, so my tools are that way, hand tools. So then when I went to, then like power tools is the same because now you buy a set. So Milwaukee or DeWalt. So I have DeWalt. So DeWalt will be, they give you that with the battery and a charger, right?
Yep.
So you buy this set. You're like, oh, cool. Well, then I need like the drills that I have are like they're the drills, the screw and the hammer drill, and it's got the hammer drill. So it's all in a 3-in-1.
Okay.
So now I have that, but then it's like you could go buy a battery. But the battery costs more than they got this other kit. It's got a reciprocating saw with a battery. Yeah. So I'm sure I'm going to need a reciprocating saw at some point. So you just buy that, and it comes with another battery. So now you've gotten a tool and a battery for the same price.
Exactly.
Right. So then that's kind of, I feel like that's how they get you, and you kind of get more and more into it.
Right. That is how you get more into it, but why did you go with DeWalt to begin with?
Because it's the best.
Why did you go? Because it's the best.
Yeah. It's like, why did I go with Klein? You know, it's
went
like
with Klein because it has numbers on it, so you can read it.
Correct. So
it doesn't mean it's the best. That means you can read.
Yeah. Well, they make other ones that have them. I can get like the Ace brands that have them on the top too.
Yeah.
But all the other stuff's Klein.
It's just keep
going.
going.
It's like, why would I wear Sitka pants, Sitka shirt, and then I find a waterproof jacket and I just buy it and it's QU?
Because it was a good deal.
No, I'm just gonna wait it out and buy a Sitka because I already got the other stuff. So it's also a matching thing too.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, if you had, say, you bought your first DeWalt drill or reciprocating saw, whatever you bought that way, you could do the same thing if Milwaukee had, you know, what you needed and it was on sale.
Correct.
You know, cheaper than the DeWalt. You're gonna get a charger. You're gonna get a battery. You're gonna have.
If I would have bought that first, I would have just stayed with Milwaukee the whole time.
Yeah, but I'm not saying buy it first.
Oh.
Like, if you bought the DeWalt and it came with the charger and the battery, so you have a charger and battery for that tool.
Okay.
So you just saying you wouldn't go with, oh man, this one's 75% off. I can get this, you know, kick-ass drill, saw, whatever, and it's going to cost me $25-$30. To where if I go with the DeWalt, I'm paying $135. You'd still just go with. I guess it's the same thing with your QU and your Sitka. You're going to wait it out and buy the one that matches.
Yeah, just for the mere reason also of the interchangeableness of them. Yeah. So I don't want to have to be like, okay, so I got this one for $30 cheaper because it's Milwaukee and it was on sale, but now I have to have this charger with this battery, and I got this tool with this charger and this battery. You know what I mean? I like that.
You got all these batteries and you got all these chargers.
Yeah, so like, hey, grab me the red one with the red battery. And it's like, what? Just like, Alexa, grab me this battery. I can just throw it on this gun and interchange it. I mean, it's not like I have a power drill that I've had, I believe, since forever, since I've started doing stuff. Like a legit plug-in. That's a skill.
Yes.
Well, a skill half-inch power drill.
Gotcha.
That thing is just, a monster, dude. Torquey. Brush has a brush. I've never changed the brushes. Nothing. And that thing runs like a raped ape, dude. And
So if Skill would have had more cordless stuff, you probably would have went with Skill.
yeah, for sure. If they had that line out, like the lineup, like DeWalt, Milwaukee, and like
Ryobi.
Yeah, like all those things that have that stuff, Makita, because just like my my skill saw is Makita.
But it's a plug-in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when it comes to plug-in, you're not brand loyal, but when you're going with...
Oh, no, I have my DeWalt
battery
Sawzall is plug-in. It's DeWalt Sawzall that's plug-in. I also have a battery one. You know what I mean? But my first one that I bought was plug-in. This is before they came out with the battery ones.
Yeah.
And I've had that thing forever.
So I don't know. I just feel like I've for what I do, I guess the Ryobis have worked.
I think that's the thing. Like, does the batteries last long? Does it run any? Could you tell? Would you be able to tell me a difference?
Okay, that's probably true because we've worked on stuff at Little Kev's place, and I believe his DeWalt batteries last longer while you're using them, and I also believe that the DeWalt batteries last longer for their life. Like I think I've had 2 Ryobi batteries already go junk. And I'm thinking I've only had this thing for a year and a half. Like,
so there is some, like, that kind of stuff does come into play.
A little bit of quality, I guess.
So, but I mean, it's like, as you're using it, you're like, oh, I can't tell the difference between running this drill. But then after a couple hours, you're like, oh, I got to switch my battery out. And he's over there still going.
Still using it.
So that's where I see, like, in some of those things. Because that's just, I feel like in some of those is like you do pay for what you get. There are other things that aren't like that, like trucks. If you're a Ford guy, it's just because you like Ford, like the way it looks, and that's like, I'm a Ford guy. Now, would I say a Chevy is, worse or going to be? No, I mean they all have their own features. They all run good. They all have everything's made so equal now. But when it comes down to, like, we bought this snake for snaking toilets.
Yeah.
Some off-brand one, right? I don't even know if it has the brand on it.
No.
Like, like a label, whatever. And we used it like a couple, 2 or 3 times, and it's trash, dude. It's ass, complete garbage. But we have this little handheld one that we run that's not as big, but we've had it for years, and it's a rigid.
Yeah.
And that thing runs circles around that other one. So I think in some aspects of it, you do get what you pay for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
It's a lot on tools, Ryobi.
Well, I like the Ryobi tools. It works for me as just basically a homeowner DIY guy.
Yeah.
If I was using something every single day and I wanted to have, I do feel like moving up to a Milwaukee or a DeWalt would be beneficial. If I was doing, like, if that was my job. Nobody heard that except for your facial expression just changed.
Man,
I think
I thought it was going to come out quiet. My bad. I apologize.
I don't think anybody even heard it. So let's not have to point it out. But yeah, so that's where, that oscillating saw that Mom and Dad gave me like years ago. I mean, I used the crap out of it, but it was from a different company that Hobo Freight, Oh
yeah.
And it worked for what I needed it to, but it really had its issues in the holding up well.
Yeah.
I guess I would say.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I mean,
See, and I've ran the piss out of that DeWalt. I mean, I just had it over at Sweeney's and just cut through his house with it.
See, and on this one, I had to replace the bolt in it because it stripped out because it was probably a very inexpensive bolt. So as I was tightening down a new blade, new end on it or whatever, it just stripped itself out.
Oh, see, like the DeWalt, you just pinch it and it opens up.
Yeah.
You pinch the thing and it opens, and you slide it in there and it clips it back. You just claws it back on.
Is that your Sawzall?
No, that's
the
oscillating saw.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Ryobi's, I still have to unscrew the...
Yeah, no, this one you just undo it, slide it in there, and it grabs back on. Yeah.
That's good.
All right, so we got one more thing before we roll out.
All right. What do you got?
So, on texting, how do you feel about somebody mashes out a text to you? Or you, so we'll just opposite. We'll say you. So you hit this text, right? And it's like a paragraph. Like this whole thing you text to say it's to me.
Yeah.
And my response back is okay. What do you think about that? Or people listening, let me hear about this. Do you tell me that you don't, dude? Because there's times like I hit this up and I'm like, bam, I'm like letting it go, dude. It's flowing, and then I'm like, cool, send it off, and then all of a sudden, and it ain't like it comes right back, and then the person that texts me back is like, yeah, but I mean, even then, minutes goes by, and I'm like, and then it'll go off, and I'm like, oh, they're responding back, and it's like literally 2 letters, okay, or got it, or whatever it is, and I'm just like, are you shitting me right now? That's all I got from that. It was the whole thing.
Yeah, I totally feel like it's like you put all this thought, effort, your emotions are going into something.
I even
like
dropped
that.
some sick emojis in there, like placed them right in perfect spots.
And you get okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a little frustrating. But on the other hand, like, I know sometimes, like, I just you talking about it, I'm thinking, well, yeah, but like I'm delivering packages. I'm in between stops. I don't have a whole lot of time to send you back a novel, you know. So I send back, okay, like I get it. So yeah, I do understand the frustration. But while you were telling me that story, I'm like, oh, I probably do that a lot. Okay, sounds good, whatever. And then, but it's because of that, and I don't take your feelings in consideration.
You should. I feel like you should. It really hurts me.
So when you talk about this, let me ask you this, because I thought of this just the other day. No, it's still texting.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do something. I'm either at work, I was doing the ice cream truck. It was just, I was doing something. I might have been working on the bathroom, whatever. And Emily texts me, like, a little sentence, you know, like 4 words, whatever, like, hey, da-da-da. And then my phone goes off, da-ding. And then, like, 4 or 5 seconds later, da-ding. 4 or 5 seconds later, da-ding. So it's basically one thought in 3 or 4 different text messages. It's like, I gotta get this out, so he's, you know, I don't know, like, get part of it out.
Yeah.
So it's like the first part, the second part, the third. I'm like, just put it all together. Just do one.
Yeah.
Because every time you ding, and then I'd look at it.
Don't,
like,
or
okay.
just maybe you don't got to keep, just put it like, write the one thought and then hit like, there's a little button called return, and it'll move it down, and then write it again. Return, write it again. So it comes in one text. And I mean, I feel like we're smart enough that we can figure out like if there's multiple questions or a thing in there, but it's cool. It makes it super easy for me. Like Lee is very good at it. So he'll write like he'll write whatever it is, and then he'll space it and then write something like something else, and he'll space
all in one text.
All in one text. So you know it's 3 different things in one text. And
right.
It's not that I wouldn't, and I love you, Lee, and thanks for doing it. It does make it easier, because then I don't have to try to decipher and figure it out. Like if I'm just like quickly looking at it or something,
right?
I know. Oh, there's this, and then for some reason I answer the questions back the same way. I'll be like, I'll answer it, and then I'll put a couple spaces, and then do that. Which I'm just like, gosh dang it, I should have just put them all in there, like let him figure it out. But it does help.
I agree.
Now the texting part of it after, like the next one and the next one and the next one, yeah, that's annoying. There's no reason for that. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm in somewhere doing something, then I just switch my phone to silent. So now you've really messed up, because now I can't, like if I'm in the jail, or if I'm, you know, in a cell, whatever I may be doing, I can't have my phone just sitting there bling, 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 going off. So I'll just switch it to silent and put it in my pocket. So now I don't know that you're texting until I get out. And then it's like, bro, are you calling me? And you're like, oh, I've been calling you. Well, somebody had texted me multiple times, so I put it on silent, and I don't even know what you called until I get out, you know. But yeah,
no, I do understand your feelings on, like, you put all that time and effort, and you're trying to get it done right with the emojis and the punctuation.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
You get your whole feeling put into that, and you get back, okay. All you want to do is be like, F you, send back the bird.
Yeah,
Just send
that's
back
it.
to
I do
email.
that to you quite a bit. So. The one wearing the glove, the black glove.
Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, texting. I think we've gotten to that point where it's just so. It's just like, it's so fast.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, you don't take anybody else's.
No,
I
you
don't
thought
care.
of it as like, oh, I saw it. Okay, cool.
I saw it. Okay,
You're
yeah,
like,
sounds
no,
good.
that was heartfelt written.
Yeah,
And you
like
just
you're gonna text
fired
me
back,
like, dude,
okay.
we're gonna have to get, a camp. We're gonna have to get a little heater buddy. Make sure we have cots. Make sure we got the trailer, blankets, pillows. Like, you got to make sure we got food. Like, oh yeah, and get the camp chef, and don't forget to get the propane. And I send you back. Okay.
Yeah. I've thought about our whole trip. And you're like, okay, cool. And I'm like, no. Like, what?
I want you to spend as much
yeah,
time
you
reading.
should take and read it and be
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm going to look into that, and I'll look at this, and I'll look to get this, and I'll put this in the garage, and I'll have this held off the side, and yes, I'll get some game bags. And then I want to know that you're thinking of the same stuff that I'm thinking of.
Not
Because
just
we're
glance
hunting
at it and went,
together.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably didn't even read it. Just hit okay.
Sometimes I've done that.
Yeah.
And like when it
cool. That's
crossed
what I
on your,
mean.
not you.
No, I'm just
I'm just
playing.
saying, somebody does a thing on there, and you just hurry and look at your phone. You don't even click on the text message, so you only get
Yeah.
like the first few lines.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, cool. I'll go to the store and grab this.
Yeah.
And then you leave. You come home. It's like, well, didn't you get that and that? I'm like, no, you just said you wanted to, get some bananas.
Yeah.
And then you open the text, and it's like,
You open and there's a whole list. You're
there's
like,
a whole
ooh.
list of stuff.
There's like 17 other things. You got 2.
I didn't even open it.
Yeah, no. I just looked at it on the front of my when it was on my phone was
When it
asleep.
flashed, I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that's good. All right, well, let's hear about it, people. Hit us up. Let us know about your tech stuff, tool stuff. And then, I mean, if anybody
Medical.
else out there knows about some soda runs popping off, watch out. It might be the Mormons moving in.
Dude, you might want to go start yours right now.
That's it. And then we'll hit you up next on the next one after this. We may be talking about a bachelor party. We may not be. I don't know. But we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I'm excited about it, though. I'm pumped. All right.
I'm stoked.
It's good
I don't
hitting
have
it
to
up,
work
bro.
all day.
That's
All right,
right.
man.
Hit
See
you
ya.
up on the next one. Peace.